So guys, it looks like we have a continuation of the mouthwashing situation. Yesterday we talked about that dev, music audio composer dev for the game, who was all outraged and having a mental breakdown over Asmongold's video reacting to my video coverage of the whole thing with various artists getting harassed by the Twitter police for their fan art depictions of Anya. To which the devs put out that official statement, as you guys probably already know. So I'm not going to recap this any further for a third time. Point is the update, right? You may have noticed in the comments of the video from yesterday that there were quite a number of people saying that this Martin guy should not be referred to as a dev for Wrong Organ because he's apparently just some temporary hire, some temporary composer dude that they hired for music stuff. However, I saw a number of responses to those comments where people said that he's actually a co-founder for Wrong Organ. And then I also saw a series of tweets from Madam Savvy, who pulled up the guy's LinkedIn profile corroborating those claims and showing that, yeah, apparently this guy does claim to be a co-founder for Wrong Organ. And admittedly, this is something I should have done myself. I completely forgot to even check LinkedIn out for any further information on this guy. That's my bad, my fault. Should have done that. But now we have this update. Savvy also bringing up another very interesting point about this guy right here in her tweet that says, kind of misleading on Twitter, and I'm not sure why. Audio wouldn't come before a co-founder title, in which, yeah, this is pretty interesting. On LinkedIn, he claims to be a co-founder and audio lead at Wrong Organ since August 2023. But once again, as she points out, and as we can see on his Twitter account, he leaves out the co-founder thing for some reason. Now, I don't know what that means. Maybe he forgot. How do you forget you're a co-founder, though? For some reason, maybe he just doesn't want it there. Maybe there's more to it. Maybe there isn't. Make of it what you will. That said, we already know this guy acts very strange on Twitter, so I suppose this is just how he is. Strange person doing strange things. And Savvy wasn't done there either. She went on to say this. They, that being Wrong Organ, hired an advisor who's very heavy in the DEI. I wonder if he advised them to do something like this. Be eager to misrepresent the current issues and complaints in gaming. Either way, quote-unquote consultants continue to be the biggest waste of money to studios that exist. It once used to be a useful term, relating only to historians or lawyers or actual marketers. Now it's just anyone with an extra immutable trait. Including these screenshots, we can see Alexander Milton, him, working for a more sustainable, fair, and inclusive game industry. And now he's been working at Wrong Organ since September of 2023. She goes on to say his website is a bit goofy. And just wait till we get to these screenshots. My favorite part is coming right up. Continuing, she says, personally, I'd never hire someone with this as their first impression, but I'd also never hire a consultant. Turns out he's a former journalist. Shocker. Who could have ever seen that coming? Here's the part that I find hilarious. In the third screenshot, this guy puts down education and qualifications. LGBTQI certification. What the frick is that? You get an LGBT certificate? Are you kidding me? How absurd is that? Imagine getting your LGBT certification. This sounds like some griftery stuff. These people use the word grifter all the time. This sounds like some nonsensical stuff that's made up to try and get some money out of people or something. Oh, hey, I'm certified. You should hire me as your consultant. I got the LGBT certificate. I'm better than those other LGBTs. On top of if they charge people for that too. Hey, sign up for our course. Don't forget to renew it every year. So we can see it says 6-part education on discrimination, inclusion, and social issues facing LGBTQI people. Where's the rest of the acronym though? Where's like the A? Where's the asexual representation from them and the plus and all that? They wouldn't be discriminating, would they? Now let's check out the full description of what this thing is though. LGBTQ certification is a process where a business with the support of RFSL begins or strengthens strategic work with the aim of creating a safe work environment and LGBTQ competent treatment. The certification is led by a trainer from RFSL, is conducted from a norm-critical perspective. Norm-critical. And is carried out over about 5 months. 5 months of your life put into this. All employees in the business undergo training and are involved in a development work that includes a business analysis, as well as the formulation of goals and initiatives for the business's work with work environment and treatment from an LGBTQ perspective. The process results in an action plan for the next 3 years, which is also the time that the HBTQI certificate is valid. We can see even more information here on this page that reads, Knowledge for Inclusion. RFSL Education is Sweden's largest and most experienced player in competence development and process management and LGBTQI and inclusion. We offer LGBTQI certifications, training, lectures, and consultancy services, of course they do, to workplaces that want to be at the forefront of their inclusion work. They give a rough example of how much this certification might cost you, and it converts to around $2,000 USD. And then they have this program that's around $6,000 USD. And their next step up, the LGBTQI Plus, for around $9,000 USD. And finally, their LGBTQI Pro program. And you can get this one for around $13,500. This organization literally treats LGBT people as if they're a printing press to make money off. And it's always hilarious when you see some people defending these sort of organizations and corpos. Many of them on certain subreddits, for example. They're like these giant corpo bootlickers, these like DI slop defenders. When clearly what's going on here is all extremely corrupt and disingenuous. On top of that, a lot of these organizations also actually make things worse for the people they claim to be helping. For example, take a look at all these DI consultancy firms in gaming and how the representation that they work on often ends up being terrible representation. And so as we left off, this Milton person who's got a certification from the organization that we just went over is seemingly working at Wrong Organ as some sort of advisor or consultant. Specifically, his LinkedIn entry reads, advising on matters relating to business development, strategy, release management, and production. And there's a hilarious exchange where this Twitter user gets mad at Savvy for simply pointing that stuff out, saying, it isn't funny anymore. You are getting dangerous and douchey, confirming the dude's fear while you're doing it. Your ilk are a cancer to gaming. She says, by posting publicly available information, I'm sorry, but appeals to trivial emotion don't work on me. This is the internet, he says. We write in a vacuum of emotion. Regardless, you are acting literally like a mob. The other day it was the Obsidian art director. Today is this guy. You harass people for the sake of grifting. This is not okay. And who even is this guy? Spio says he, him, some sort of entrepreneur or something. Wow, great. Savvy responds, saying, it's not harassment to post the words of someone that they chose to write to inform customers who is selling products so they can decide what they want. You've used the word grifting, I see, simply because we have different viewpoints. Name calling doesn't work either. And he says, we are arguing semantics, but okay. You are part of a movement/culture that at the very least encourages hate and toxicity and feed off of that. That makes you a grifter. It's not name calling, it's the reality. The only reality here is that this person doesn't know what he's talking about. That's not even what a grifter is. And everything he just described would apply much more to all these DI slop defender types. Continuing though, he says, the harassment comes from consumers of the big influencers/content creators that target people they don't like. Heck, even here I had people calling me all sorts of stuff. Either you are lying or you're not aware of the toxicity you create. So apparently when some game devs or other corpos act insane posting a bunch of exceptional stuff on social media and people then cover it and talk about it, that's harassment to this person. Savvy then said this, and this looks to be where the conversation ended. That is not what a grifter is. So you at least made it clear you were just using a word you saw someone of your tribe use and now use it here because you don't like me. It's not harassing someone to let them know you disagree with them. It's not harassment to post someone's own words they posted on a public forum. It's not harassment to have a different opinion. If you're so concerned about harassment, go tell the pronoun brigade who told an artist to take their life over drawing quote-unquote the wrong thing. That's why we are where we are at. An artist was harassed. Asmon said that's lame. The co-founder said he was sick Asmon found his game, but he wasn't sickened by his politically aligned individuals sending death threats to an artist. Spare me your sanctimonious bullpucky. I know I'm being a broken record, but how do people like that, the person all mad at Savvy, how do those sort of people not realize how lame they sound? Everything that dude said was so obnoxious, and the points were just terrible. So dialing it back, let me know what you think about all of these updates regarding that music dev person also being a co-founder at Wrong Organ. That weird consultancy person they brought on who's got the LGBT certification stuff. And that conversation that we just read between Madam Savvy and that Twitter cop. Consider liking and or subscribing if you enjoyed my coverage. And as always, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.